My name is Petya Rasheva, a student in the Stanford Lead Program. In continuation of the Building Power to Lead course of Professor Jeffrey Pfeffer and the series of interviews on Path to Power, I am talking today to Soo Hoo, the Worldwide Chief Technology Officer of Lenovo. Welcome, Ed.
Thank you, Petya. Nice to be here. Thanks for the opportunity to share insights with you.
Thank you so much for accepting this invitation. Ed, you were the keynote speaker at the closing session of Me Too We in March, and we enjoyed so much hearing your talk. Would you please give us here an overview of your career path? Perhaps tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Well, thanks for the opportunity. One, I enjoyed myself, to do the closing keynote at your event. And as for background, it's really sort of the non-standard background, for lack of a better description. And so it's really fascinating. Where do people come from? Because it's those experiences that really mold them. So just by way of sort of background, in the technology field, I've had a number of roles in the technology here in Silicon Valley, where I'm based, and two stints at Oracle, HP, Unisys, a number of other companies that had to do with networking. I ran a data center that used to be United Airlines, and 8 startups under my belt. And so 3 IPOs, 2 buyouts, and even a couple of disasters. You really can't say that you're a startup entrepreneur unless you've actually had a couple of instances where you did not have a successful outcome. And prior to that, I was a blue-collar card-carrying teamster. I was a machinist at Caterpillar Tractor, a brakeman switchman at Southern Pacific Rail, forklift driver, truck driver, warehouseman, retail clerk. Played pool for 3 years every day but Christmas. Traveled all over the world playing billiard games. Have a graphic design business with my wife. Our first client was George Lucas. And a number of various experiences in my career path. But from a how did I get there scenario, I only have 1 year of college under my belt. Went to the University of San Francisco. But after that, my dad needed some help back at the family grocery store, so I dropped out. Never went back. And so from there, my journey began. And that journey went from blue collar to white collar to no collar. And here I am today.
Yes, your career is a very particular one, very impressive. And looking back, what do you believe has been critical in your path to power, in getting you where you are?
One, a relentless, almost unstoppable sense of curiosity. The other is, as I started to, I wouldn't say gain power, but more insight. I think once you have insight, power comes. But it allowed me to look at things a little bit differently. And what I mean by that is my insights actually came from observation. And the observation gave me a various set of curiosity sort of skills, where I would observe not just the people that I work with, but the people I work for. And I would observe their behaviors, and I said, that's what I would love to do. And I started to emulate them. And it was quite fascinating, where I actually had a warehouse job, temporary at that. And every so often, the general manager would come out, fix a particular machine in the warehouse, because it was a union job, and union members were not allowed to fix things. So the general manager had to come out. And I observed the general manager every time he came out to fix it. On the third time, when the machine broke, I jumped on the machine without permission. I fixed it, and the general manager came out. He goes, "The machine's not broken. Why did you call me?" And the team, the union members pointed at me. They said, he fixed it. And the general manager looked at me, he goes, why'd you do that? He goes, it seems like a waste of time for you to come out to do something that's very simple to do. I said, I just observed you and I figured I'd just jump on it. And that was my path to really understand something. One, just look at things around you, see things that are being done, and take ownership of it. I wasn't paid to do that. I wasn't asked to do that. I actually took it upon myself to jump in and do something that I was not asked to do, not responsible for, and not paid for. And that actually started my, sort of like a catalyst in my career path. I started to, long story short, I ended up becoming the manager trainee for the entire distribution company based on that action. And it was sort of like the launch pad for me to look at things a little bit differently. One, to look at it as if I were actually doing the job itself. Two, look at it in a manner, what would be needed to do a better job of it. And then sort of, take ownership of that. And I think leadership is really a big part of having those skills and that capability, where you've come from having done it, you know what it's about, and you're not afraid to even do it yourself. And I think this is what people look for. Rather than, and people don't like being told what to do. They like to be asked and almost invited to show me what you got. And when you do, people will surprise you, right? Because this is where I think power and leadership is really most compelling, is that they inspire, right? When my general manager walked in a room, I said, oh my God, I feel like everything is possible. And they're willing to give you the opportunity if you're willing to take it on your own. And people sometimes wait for that responsibility, and those are not leaders. You have to take it. You have to see it and recognize it, and then take the risk of being, chastised, admonished. That's not your job. That doesn't matter. I think good leaders are fearless, and people understand what fearless is. And that's what people look for.
Very interesting. Thank you. And we also learned that it takes a different skill set to retain a position of seniority once you become a leader of leaders. What is your take on that?
To retain something, it's never something that you retain as it is people give you. It's a little bit different, right? You can do all the things to kind of hold on to power, but it's what people want from you and with you. And I think this is what people, I think, miss many times. They have to do all these things to hold on to power. And I think by giving away your power, by empowering your teams, your associates and the like, they actually keep you in power. They want you at that position to continually inspire, to continually be that person that they look to when they need advice, leadership, comfort, whatever the case may be. And I think we are voted in as opposed to keeping it. And people, I think this is where people miss how to hold on to power, right? It's not, controlling people or controlling situations. It's the ability to manage it as best you can and have people constantly, continuously vote for you, support you, and they would not follow anyone else. And I think that's where true power really comes from. it's keeping it is not the goal. Giving it is really the goal. That's the path. Because when that happens, they give back. And when they give back, it's a I don't know, it's an honor to be there, right? Because people want you there, not because you kept it. And I think that's where the real magic lies. I think a really great leader knows when to leave and gracefully. I think a really great leader should feel confident that he or she has done everything possible to leave the organization in better hands. And there are other paths for this leader to go, other people to empower, other people to lift. And I think a great leader doesn't really stay that long. A really great leader, I think, builds the foundation, builds the mindset, the discipline, and then gracefully departs on their own because they know it's time. And it's sort of like when the mother bird kicks their fledgling kids out of the nest. It's time to fly.
When the mission is accomplished.
Yeah, and your job is done, right? A leader's job is not to stay there. A leader's job is to empower it and to build the organization to feed on itself, to grow and prosper, right? Once that has started, that flywheel has basically started to spin, a really good leader moves on, tries something different. I think you see leaders stay within their industry. They stay within their comfort zone. I think a really great leader actually takes on various different jobs, responsibilities, industries, and challenges, because that's where they find themselves. I think a really great leader is always on the quest to find themselves.
You have changed yourself many different areas: technology, business development, sales, you name it.
Yeah, and to me, that's where great insights come from. This is where empathy really becomes part of your DNA. There's sympathy, right? But then empathy is more critical. And I think this is where great leaders who have actually done many, many different things, their insights are so different. And that is who I would follow without hesitation. And, you know, I've had people call me, they said, Ed, wherever you go, just call me, I'll show up, right? And it's kind of fascinating because I think my career path is one of not determined, let's say, a designed path. I've tried just about everything you can imagine. And I'm more of an accidentalist as I am anything else, because I fall into things. But then when you do, this is where you find a lot about yourself, right? You've never done this before. Most of my jobs, Petya, I've never been qualified for. I've had more interviews where they said, "You're not qualified for this, are you?" I said, "No, not really." And they said, "So why do you want to apply for this?" I said, "One, I think it's a fascinating job. Two, I would love the opportunity to learn. Three, I think this is a great opportunity to kind of try something so different that this will wake up other things inside of me." And I think this is the quest I think a lot of people forget sometimes. And that quest is to be constantly challenged, not comfortable. And I think this is where great leaders really shine. This is where great leaders show their team, hey, this is going to be a real challenge. They know that, but they need someone that lights that up for them. And I think that's where a strong leader really makes a huge, huge difference. And, you know, leading by title and all that, yeah, I get that. But I think when someone asks me, what do you do with your current position as your worldwide CTO? And I said, I actually do three things. One, I'm a truth teller. Two, I'm a storyteller.
Yes, you are.
Three, I'm a fortune teller. And someone said, fortune teller, you mean you see the future? I said, no, 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 no. Fortune tellers read people. And so I'll give you an example. After meeting a fortune teller will say, over the next 90 days, you're going to find the love of your life in a coffee shop. And I said, what do you think that person's going to do? And they said, they're going to the coffee shop. I said, right. Our job is to help people find themselves, to go on their journey into those coffee shops. The rest is up to them to find the love of their life. But I'm going to give them a framework to think through, of something to go for and look for. I said, our jobs as leaders is to be that fortune teller, to give people that perspective, that opportunity, that path. But we can't do it for them. They have to go to the coffee shop. And then they have to start looking for the love of their life. And I said, as really great leaders, our job is to do that. To be a great storyteller at the same time, to give them new ways of looking at things, simplifying some very complex stories and opportunities and goals and challenges, and more importantly, be a truth teller. So when you combine all three, a really great leader has each of these three skills. And this is what people look for in a leader. This is what people strive for as they start to think about themselves, right? They want to be able to tell a great story, to be a truth teller, but to also, as a fortune teller, inspire people, to give them something to look for, to give them something to strive for. And a great leader gives people that.
Thank you. That's very good advice. And on a personal note, somebody like you with so much responsibility, how do you keep sane in your day-to-day?
Oh, gee, keeping sane. Wow, another four-letter word. Keeping sane is sometimes walking away from all the things that are expected of you. Right? And to take that time and gift yourself the opportunity just to walk away for a few hours, to do something that doesn't require a lot of thinking, but more importantly, a lot of feeling, elated, feeling free. So what I do to keep sane, every Sunday, I go for a 4-hour drive all around the Bay Area. And I drive my sports car, and it's freeing, right? All I care about is the road ahead of me, how fast I want to go, how I want to navigate the turns, and there's no thought of whatsoever of anything else outside of the experience of going at a high rate of speed with nothing else on my mind except to free myself in those moments. And for 4 hours, and this is how I kind of sort of release myself from all the things of the responsibilities of work and all of those things. And if you don't do it for yourself, who will? And to be sane, for lack of a better word, to really walk away from some of these things. And I think this is where a real good power comes from as well. Be willing to walk away. Be willing to say, enough. Sometimes we get so ingrained on holding on to power, we do things that we really shouldn't be doing. We stay too long. We work too hard. We don't
sacrifice the health.
Right. And you know what? Just go back and find those moments that allow you to not have to think about all those things. Because when you become free from that, it allows you to find yourself. And this is when I come, rolling back into my garage, it's like a cleansing for me. I feel so empowered again, right? That I was able to, take that time away. And this is hard because there are so many things that people ask you for: your time, your schedule, and it's family request. There's all sorts. But my wife knows that that's what I need, and so I take that, and it is my responsibility, because no one can help you stay sane. You have to really work hard at it. And to take that time away, whether it's go sailing in a boat on the bay or whatever the case may be, walk away from it. And this is where these small moments really help you crystallize all the things, why you even do things. And I think happiness is not, like you said, it's not a constant state. There are moments of happiness, right? And to relish those, but to work really hard at it, I think you have to stay sane, as you asked. I think you have to be willing to walk away from things and to be true to yourself.
Yes, fully agree. Thank you very much. There is so much to learn from you. Thank you on my behalf and on behalf of my classmates at the Stanford Lead. Have a great day.
Thank you, Petya.